Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folare. My guest this morning is Mr. Jide Ologun. Jide, as always, it's great to have you on. Jide is a legal practitioner and commentator on public affairs. And the EndSARS report, we started a conversation on it yesterday, but as you know, mixed reactions. There are a lot of, and it's very intense feelings on the matter. I dare say that from commentary that I've been getting, some members of the panel who have been speaking have been sort of exhibiting something of a hurt mien. But first of all, your impressions. As I said, mixed reports. There are those who are saying that's what it is. But Lagos State did say that in releasing that report, the governor did say that they were going to be guided by the truth and nothing but the truth, and the truth is going to have to be evidence-based, and that what the report contained, there was nothing in it to align with notions out there that there was anything such as a massacre.
Yeah, and I believe that the major issue of contention now is the expression massacre, which by definition is a brutal killing of many, particularly those who are defenseless. And if we go back to the picture of what happened at the Lekki toll gate on the 20th of October 2020, we found Nigerians who were protesting peacefully, and suddenly gunshot visited them. And they were even singing the national anthem, which is the symbol of patriotism. And at that point in time, by the time the shootings were over, there was so much anguish in the air, sorrow, and many expected that with the videos and contents that are pushed out capturing that ugly incident, that the report we have in the white paper should not be as so wide away from the picture. You recall that CNN gave its own narratives. Those who were there on ground gave their narratives, and now the white paper is saying that even though the Judicial Panel of Inquiry reported about 9 people died, about 42 sustained injuries, that only 1 person died, and even the person that died, that the corpse was discovered on the 21st of October, after the curfew, so that death could not even be traced to the intervention, the military and police intervention. And under our constitution, if I not be legalistic, there's what we call presumption of innocence, which says that a criminal allegation must be proved beyond all reasonable doubt. But having said that, we have the public side of it. Don't forget that the white paper came after the reports of the panel got released to the public, whether it was leaked or not. And at that point in time, Lagos State scored a high accolade.
But you remember, so I beg your pardon for interrupting. You remember that the Attorney General, who is chairing the sort of review committee of Lagos State, he had said that there were 2 reports, actually. Not many people know that or are aware of that. The one that concerned itself with brutality, cases of alleged brutality by the SARS, police SARS team in particular. They have actioned that and have paid a princely sum directly linkable to that report.
Yeah, there were 2 reports.
Yes.
This panel was set up.
I beg your pardon. Hold your thought. Abubakar has called in. Good morning, Mr. Abubakar.
Good morning, Uncle Yuri. How are you, sir?
Very well, sir. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you very much, sir. The matter on table, that is EndSARS report, white paper, that says no killing in Lekki Gate. These reports, it did not come as a surprise because we are all a living witness. We all watch out the scene. And whatever, maybe he might have taken position that there is a massacre. And a massacre, according to the dictionary, is killing of many or millions brutally. And for us here, we did not see anything like that, and the panel have given time and give all those that are defending the massacre to bring the dead bodies they failed to bring the dead bodies. To bring the names of those that died, they failed to bring those names. To bring the relation or guardian of those that died, they failed to do that one. To even bring the pictures of those that they claim have been killed brutally, failed to bring that one. And even the person, some of the persons they say are eyewitness, they testify that their names are included in those dead, but they are not giving testimony. Mr. Yori, some people have bent on denting the name of this government, and there's nothing you can do to change their mind because they have already taken side. So all this discussion we are doing them is useless. But no one, not even the CNN themselves, they have now removed their hand because they know it is the handwork of the mischievous Nigerians. No reasonable Nigeria, no reasonable, I repeat, reasonable Nigeria will agree that there is a massacre at Tollgate, because if there is, the dead body has honor. Where are the honors?
Okay, then.
Theory, these people are liars.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Abubakar, for calling in. Your opinion, as everybody is free to offer his opinion, but that's Mr. Abubakar's take. He is basing what he is saying, entirely his opinion, doesn't reflect ours necessarily. He is saying, show me the evidence. And this is a main pivot upon which lawyers...
I just mentioned the presumption of innocence in the criminal justice value chain. And the fact that you did not have a diligent prosecution does not mean a crime has not been committed. It only means the suspect has not been convicted. And while I appreciate his submissions, I have some questions here. Was there a military police intervention on the 20th of October 2020? The answer is yes.
When you say military police, you mean a combined military and police?
Exactly. Were there gunshots? Yes. Even the report claims there are gun wounds. Did people die? We may be debating that. And he made mention to mischief makers.
But how about the professor who performed the autopsy, who said that three corpses, three persons were brought in dead, corpses he saw and can testify about 3 corpses, 2 of them blunt force trauma, 1 of them a puncture wound. Ascertaining who fired the shot, if at all, is still a work in progress.
The greatest pain truth has are these debates we are having, because truth is somewhere smiling, and I remain truth, and you may debate. Let me take our minds back to issues of trust capital for the government. We had an election in this country, June 12, 1993, reckoned as the fairest, the most credible election ever in the country. And somewhere along the line, scaling towards the announcement of the victory, the government came up to annul the election for reasons. That, if we announce it, it will lead to crisis and this and that.
But that was June 12. That is June 12. I don't know whether you can combine the two. I mean, I'm
laying a foundation.
Yeah, but that was an entirely
I'm laying a foundation.
Scenario.
And later in time, somebody said that he was compelled by some other forces to take that decision. I wish the person the best. He's still alive where he is now. So I won't be surprised if somewhere along the line in the future, some people begin to come out to say, oh, this is what actually happened. We were compelled to cover this. So I'm not saying there's any cover-up. I'll make another precedent because we like precedents in law.
Okay, but before then, let me bring in Mr. Ayeni in Ibadan. Good morning, Mr. Ayeni.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Oh, God bless you for me. And I greet your guest here.
Okay, Mr. Jide Ologun.
I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time.
Oh, great.
Is this matter of EndSARS?
Okay. The white paper that has been issued.
Been on it for a long time.
Yeah.
All of them are using English. to scatter the issue. We are not convenient with the type of government we are having. You see, the issue is that the EndSARS, the soldier boys they send there, they are all from the north. Let us be sincere with us.
Well, when you just said, let us be sincere, sir, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Unless you saw the list of the many uniforms that were sent, how can you arrive at that conclusion?
Hello,
yes, sir. Yes, I can hear you. But you just said, let us be sincere, and then you proceed to say that all the military men drafted to the place were from a particular region. You didn't see the list.
They are from particular region. They are from particular region. I can hear you clearly.
How can you know that, sir? This is the problem. How can you know that?
So whatever the instruction they give to them is what they are going to follow.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your contribution. You see, it's an impassioned issue. And we just get that call from Mr. Ayen in Ibadan. He just dropped his own perspective into the whole matter. Now, he didn't give me a shred of evidence as to maybe he had seen the list, if they call it a call-out list, if he had seen a call-out list, if he had seen that every name there was from the southeast, was from the north, was from the west, whatever. But he made a categorical statement. And I wonder if the white paper that has been issued by government is not suffering from similar situations where people have taken a position, you know. I don't imagine that people, I mean, it's just the conviction that they have.
You know, the white paper has its root in the 16th century French practice. Then the Britons also engaged it. And when the paper is coded white, it means it can go to the public. And this is the philosophy of the government. This is the position of the government on this matter.
Exactly.
And if the reports of the panel did not get released to the public, would have been confronted with only the white paper. But this report came out to the public. And we were now expecting the white paper. But I have said, we have not denied that people died that night. And permit me to bring back my second
yeah, people died that night, but I think in the conversation, you know, people tried to say, can you just please bring this to the 2010-20 event at Lekki toll gate?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't add to tally up all the deaths that happened around that period and then put them on the charge sheet, as it were, of the LTC.
Exactly. That is the difficult aspect of the presumption of innocence, which is a strong part of the criminal justice management. And this regime promised to reverse it, to put the burden on proof on the accused. But having said that, let me say that on June 4, 1996, or thereabout, Alhaji Kudirat Abiola was killed gruesomely in Lagos. And what we got was, unknown gunmen, we didn't know who did it. Somewhere along the line, some state actors were revealed as behind that ugly incident. You still recall the names of the likes of Rogers, and you see the powerful man in the military who was incarcerated for a long time also. So when you put all this together, you begin to ask a question: can the people trust the government to come out with the truth in situations like this, whether we like it or not? Those whose children have died, fathers have died, those who were victims, direct victims of what happened on the 20th of October, 2020, they bear the pain.
Indeed.
You see, just the same way we are dealing with the Civil War, which is in the past. But if you don't connect with your history, you may not be able to fashion a wonderful future.
Let me take Michael.
There was to be reconciliation, and
Michael has been holding on for a while. I beg your pardon. You come straight back to the point. Good morning, Michael, in Asaba, Delta State.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. My contribution this morning is that I want to comment on the false evidence, because when the Lekki incident happened last year, what actually happened at first was that the light at the toll gate was switched off, and then the CCTV cameras, they were switched off as well. So I don't think it is fair to ask somebody now that was no present there to bring an evidence where there is no light and the CCTV camera was switched off. So I don't know, that's just my take on that. It will be very, very difficult to bring an evidence. So something fishy actually happened, but we are not sure. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Michael, for calling in. That's another aspect. Michael introduces another situation. Say, look, the burden is one of proof, right? But again, going back to this element of trust, I think Michael is insinuating, without actually saying so, that you make it impossible to get proof, yet you know that they won't say what you know in your own mind to be the truth. They won't say that unless you can give the truth which has been made impossible to obtain. He was speaking about cameras and lights. Camera will not function in the absence of light. So fundamentally, it goes back to, I think, the trail that you were treading earlier about this issue of trust between government and the people. It's been a problem with us, and you say, I think you haven't said so, but I would deduce from what you're saying that it's a continuing issue in your mind.
Absolutely. In fact, the issues that led to the protest are still there. Complaints against police brutality. And what happened on the 20th of October 2020 may not be described otherwise than police and military brutality. So are we solving the problems?
Are we?
Those are the questions.
Problems.
Or brutality.
Okay.
That's the question.
It depends on who is going to answer that question. Because
yes,
because as you know, the government, even the governor, he said it in his own, preamble to the release of the White Report that, look, you made demands. I took them to the president, who actioned it. And one of the more visible ones was, you said so, we did so. Immediate disbandment of SARS, and going on. I don't need to repeat it. You know it all. But in the meantime, I have on the other end of the line. I beg your pardon. Tell me who's on the other end of the line. Daniel in Ibafo. Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning, sir. This is Daniel from Ifako.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Not Ibafo. Ifako. Good morning, sir.
Ifako.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Very simple, sir. I quickly want to make us clarify this.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has been in reference to Professor Obafunwa's testimony. Professor Obafunwa's testimony alone is not the testimony taken to the health. We must understand that. Because it was very funny when Attorney General was speaking on the platform yesterday, and he was hammering on that. And what do you expect the panel people? They have to agree on the clear evidence Professor Obafunwa brought. But what about other, the other report that was taken to the panel on the issue of people that died? So, report that came to the panel on that issue. So, hammering just one issue or testimony of a state actor or a state worker should not be a basis to quickly define that it's only one person. And let me remind you, sir, before I quickly go.
Okay.
There are incidents and what we saw, or even on your and other platform, that people that came to give testimony, 2 ladies were attacked, brutally beaten, and people are still saying people should come out and give testimony. And like what Lawyer Ologun said, in the future that is very near, we will still see some people that will come up and say they were coerced not to talk. And this thing is happening. And we are trying to shy away from the fact that nothing happened.
Okay.
It's only one person that died of gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if we want to even go by the definition of massacre, in some definition, he never talked about numbers. He talked about defenseless people that were brutally murdered by state actors. So if they call it massacre, yes, they are right. But the most important thing is whether we want to agree that the massacre or massacre, the people died people actually died. So why for evidence where, in fact, it's unfortunate.
Okay.
We all know what the Lagos State wants to do. That was why.
Well, thank you very much for calling in. Sorry, he brought in Professor Obafunwas, and I think the Attorney General had, pointed out that, look, evidence was scanty, but Professor Obafunwa is an expert witness, and apparently you lawyers and all legal bodies, judicial bodies, put a very high premium on the testimony of expert witnesses. Was that wrong? I mean, because Lagos has said that we're going to go about this systematically as per the facts and the evidence that the panel tells us was before it.
I must say that there's nothing wrong in relying on experts. But then, like I said, one of the reports that about 99 bodies were deposited in morgues. But we can now trace few, and particularly one that was found at the venue, to these incidents. Let's now begin to ask. At a time, a honorable minister found a camera at the site of that incident. Where's the camera? Recently, he was telling journalists not to ask him what happened to the camera. So there are issues and dramas. And let me also.
Yes. You're talking about Minister Fashola, and he said, "I don't know anything about it. I mean, it was found. The right
maybe in the future. Maybe in the future, when he's through with the beauties of office and everything, he may sit down in his sitting room one day and recall a man left Aso Villa after all the enjoyment and came out to say there are demons in Aso Villa. Why did he not see the demons when he was there? These are issues.
What's the point you're making? I don't know how you mentioned Fashola because everybody that camera that
I'm
he
just
found.
Saying, you see, when you are in office, you are in a very difficult situation. I don't envy those who are there. In fact, a prominent figure in this government said that may your loyalty not be tested. There are reports we have read. Some of us are researchers. And let me ask this question, sir. May God grant Honorable Justice Mary Odili long life. If that woman was assassinated when some consultants in court invaded her home, what report will come out from a panel?
Okay. So
these are who killed the Legiwa? Who killed Chibola Ige? We can go on and on and on.
So
the young lady, Tolu Arochile, who killed her? Who killed the daughter of Chief Fashion Rochi?
In spite of the governor, Sanwo-Olu, reminding us that the panel was headed by an eminent jurist in the person of retired Justice Doris, you still think the element of distrust of government in spite of all of that, and that all of those people in there were people of independent minds, and they scattered them across.
I do not envy Honorable Justice Doris Okuwobi, retired, right now. I have deliberately searched and I have not read her response to what we are discussing now. You can go and check.
But it's unlikely. Judges don't usually comment on matters.
We know. And you can see those who even played key roles there, throwing banters and things like that. But like I said, and I think going forward, there's a need for trust.
Okay.
Capital.
And it seems to me, Mr. Jide Ologun, that you don't particularly trust the authorities.
I should trust the authority to deliver, all right, on the side of good governance.
Okay.
But for some of us, I think it's a personal opinion. I think it should have been handled better. And don't also forget,
let's come back.
I don't even envy Lagos State, sir.
Okay, because I was going to say, look, let's come and interrogate that when we come back from the break, because it's an interesting thing that you say. It could have been handled better. Sanwo-Olu made out his whole, working to the answer that he gave. We'll come and look at it. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at the EndSARS report. Just been, the white paper has been released, and a lot of people, quite frankly, mixed reactions is the way the press usually puts this kind of a thing, mixed reactions. And some of the people who have been directly involved there have been heated exchanges, quite frankly. So it looks like we have the situation that we have on our hands now. We're talking about trust of, this issue of trust between government and the people. Now, you said you would have wished that it would have been handled better. Well, fortunately, that's what the law is all about, so that people can handle it better by bringing it to the law and judicial processes rather than carrying your cutlass and going around settling things the way you see it. That's what we've done here. But lawyers themselves are the people who are complaining, both pro and con, to this whole matter.
You know, let's clarify something. Even in the white paper, the government is claiming that there are 11 recommendations that are within the purview of the federal government.
Yes.
We are pushing that. Fantastic positioning. And you make sure that you establish your own position, even if you cannot implement the recommendations. By the way, there were recommendations made at the Oputa panel. There were evidences, witnesses who came to even describe how Chief MK Abiola died. What have we done with it? That is at the implementation level.
Yeah, but if surely you agree with the governor when he said things that are beyond the purview of Lagos State government, they need to pass on to the federal.
Absolutely.
You agree with that?
But there are those within the purview of the state. Was there brutality on the 20th of October 2020 in Lagos? Somebody needs to answer that question. Okay. Have people been hurt? Going forward, will these people be pacified or be radicalized? What is the impact on the society?
Will they receive closure?
And that is why if you are concerned about the PR blunder that took place, the governor inviting some stakeholders to come for peace work, and they said no, that you have to work alone.
Well,
that because the conveyor belt of peace is justice.
Well, they said, yeah, exactly, that show me justice and then we can work.
And these are issues. We are in a democracy.
Good morning, Charles. Thank you for holding on.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I want to talk on the EndSARS annual report.
Okay. We know what you mean.
There was something that happened on 20th October 2020. But the people of Nigeria say this is what happened. We were protesting against police brutality, against some things happening in this country that we are not happy with. You understand? We are protesting peacefully. Then the government came with their security and they shot at people. And the word there was massacre. And there's contention going on around town. They are saying massacre is killing hundreds and thousands. No, massacre is if you kill one person, but you kill him in a way that is not good. It's called a massacre. You understand? Are you understanding me? Then the government came, they sent in soldiers, they killed these people. Okay, we told the world that we were protesting and the government killed us. The government is denying it. Then the government now brought in like a panel of inquiry to come and look at what happened. He came, we're not in support of the panel of inquiry, but the government came and we as law abiding citizens, we went to that panel and we gave our submission. You know? The panel came out and the government was thinking they can subdue the panel. And they came, the panel brought in results, but it didn't favor the government. The government came and started attacking its own panel. You understand? And it's not working on the side of Nigerians.
Okay. I hear you. Thank you very much for calling in. Again, the word massacre has come up, and you could see that in the opinion of Charles, even one can be a massacre. So there are these public sentiments and commentaries to also contend with. But when you cut it all apart, lawyers, judicial processes, courts, institutions, they will go by the, no doubt, proper and legal definitions of these words. Nobody is going to be swayed by what I, Yori Folani, happen to think a word means or the nuances of those words. They're going to be going by, you're the lawyer. They're going to be saying that the proper legal definition of this is this, and therefore that doesn't have any tendency.
You know, I quite agree with you, and I think the frantic effort to manage this crisis may not be far away from consequence management, because the International Criminal Court is interested in what happened in Lekki, the EU, Amnesty International, United Nations, and don't forget that some have left exalted offices to land in jails for human rights infractions.
Yeah.
And let me also bring...
But wait. Sorry, sir. Well, as you were saying that, it occurred to me, because it's often been quoted, that when the U.S. Secretary of State came visiting, and I think the matter had come up between him and the president had said, you know, we're just waiting for the white report.
Now the reports from the other states. Okay, now,
yes.
and that brings us to the brilliant issue you raised, sir. 2 reports were presented, actually.
Yes.
The first
because
one,
it was alleged that
the primary mandate of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry was to investigate the allegations of police brutality and make recommendations. In fact, one of the recommendations is even to enhance the welfare of the police. So it's all encompassing how to stop police brutality.
There wasn't very much talk on the second report,
exactly.
the police
The second one
That's where the government spent 400 million.
After the 20th of October. So when these ugly incidents took place in Lekki, in Lagos State, the terms of reference for that panel was expanded. That, okay, also accommodate, investigate, listen to victims, you know, peruse evidences, and come up with recommendations and your findings. So that's why we have the 2 reports. So right now, the one that is generating heat, it's not even the first report. That is even suggesting improve the welfare of the police, set up a standing committee on human rights defense and things like that. Is the ugly incidents at the toll gate is what is shaking the table right now?
Let me bring in Usman. Usman in Ikorodu, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please, Usman.
Yeah, I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Okay, go ahead, please.
You see, this issue of the EndSARS has been talking about hello?
We can hear you. Please continue.
Okay. You see, we are talking about this EndSARS all the time.
No, we're talking about the white paper. Government has let its opinion be known. Government has let its opinion be known. That's what we're talking about.
I know. What I'm trying to say that at the early stage, when this thing happened, they say 72 people died in the toll gate. Now, when the government set up the panel, nobody believed the government. Now, the panel has finished their job under 13 months and submit the report to the Lagos State government. Now, Lagos State government now said that after 2 weeks, they will come out with the white paper report. Now, really, that 2 weeks expire on Monday or Tuesday, they now came out with the white paper. According to the report, it was 31. The bigger 31 see that federal government has taken the work on. Because after they carried 11 out of each side and dropped 1. Now we are still talking about. Now they are talking about the doctor the doctor that said that 3 people, he conducted the test, but 3 people that died. That it was only 1 that died in the toll gate in the area. But now, according to Jide, all the time telling us the rule of law. They are to generate the evidence what the panel bring out. It's not much any evidence by itself. You know, there are some people have already taken chance in this issue. What of the other states? They go there to a panel. Why can't we hear something from the other states?
Okay.
Is it in the whole state? This thing happen?
Okay, but thank you very much for calling in. Yeah, it's a good point you made. It wasn't only in Lagos State, but every panel has its own term of reference.
That's the first part of the. You see, we have clarified that. What is shaking the table now is the part B of the inquiry. The other states do not have the jurisdiction over what happened at Lekki Tollgate. Lekki Tollgate is in Lagos State, not in Ondo State, not in Oyo State. But the alleged police brutality, it's a national issue. We've had reports from Anambra State, from everywhere, you know, about police brutality and the need to reform the police. And so these are 2 different issues. So we should not try to model the 2 together. So right now, it's this aspect of the alleged massacre taking place at Lekki. And if the white paper has come to the conclusion that there is no massacre, the white paper is the position of the government. So maybe the position of the panel set up by the government is different from the position of the government.
And I think it's, I don't know how important it is that just before the Lagos State government spoke on the report, we had first of all had the Minister of Information who had spoken publicly about it. In fact, he, not speaking publicly, he called a press conference, to, disparage, let it be said, disparage the report if he called it Tales by the Moonlight, Tales by Moonlight, which is like fairy tales. Then following that, just coincidentally, Festus Kayamo SAN also happened to be on a current affairs program, and he sought to actually wipe it out altogether by saying it wasn't even legal. And then now, none of those events are necessarily linked. Now, the government has said that, look, going by the report and what I have in there, there is no evidence to match with the perception out there. I hear there's another person on the phone. Wale Inekeja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Afiyori.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. Nice talk. I want to contribute to what you guys are discussing. It's just like as your guest there said. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I get that your guest there said, because I also believe that what happened in Lekki, if government want to say the truth, they all know the truth. It's just like as your guest said, that in future, the truth will come out. And you can see the example that he also gave. June 12 and Kudrat Abiola and what happened in future, because we all believe. Because when that 21st of October, what happened? We discovered that government come out that nothing happened, they are not even at Lekki at all. Later, with all the evidence, we saw the Jesus live, videoing live at the scene. If it's CNN live, we all saw it. We already know the position of the government from the beginning. But because of the whelming evidence, that is why they have to conceive, okay, we don't shoot the last blade, we didn't went there. Later on, they finally come out, okay, we went there with the last blade, they were shooting on the air. There's no way. This is a peaceful protester. This is a young Nigeria. Okay, it's a struggle that I strongly believe that if government wants to say the truth, we will just make it peace and let's move on. It has happened, We want peace in Lagos. So may God help us in this country, my brother. That's what I can say. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. It's such a convoluted, conversation piece, the way it's coming now. Because first of all, it has just been referenced. You referred to panels past, but those were different governments.
It's up to
yes, they say government is a continuum.
Yeah.
Those are different governors. There's a whole bunch of, there's a whole different set of people in government now. But you are saying that the attitude, unfortunately, persists.
I think
that you can't really trust government, right?
It's a culture.
Aha.
Sir, in the USA, in the state of New York, the governor was alleged to be involved in sexual harassment. He left office. Even before prosecution, he resigned. The former David Cameron, the former Prime Minister of the UK, his position did not fly in Brexit. He resigned. You see, there is not this frantic effort.
Yeah, but I don't see how you can link. I didn't understand
you
your
mentioned the concept of governance now, that in government. Between 1978 and 1979, sir, $2.8 billion allegedly disappeared from the NNPC account, traced to a Midland Bank account in London.
Okay.
A panel was set up. Okay. The panel said no money disappeared. Is
it worth anything? I don't know, sir. Is it worth anything that the people that made up government then are different from the people that make up government now? Is it worth anything?
Government also reflects in the kind of system in operation.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Ebenezer, who is waiting on the line. Good morning, Ebenezer.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in, sir. Go ahead, please.
According to your guest will be asked you.
Indeed, Mr. Jide Ologun.
Yeah. I think the issue here that the media must help us, especially people like you, is the language of massacre or killing. Some people want us and want government to believe that there is a massacre. And we, somebody like me, are going to say no. One of your guys just called and say massacre is when you kill one people is massacre. And I went back to go and check my dictionary that massacre is killing many people. The dictionary put bracket open and bracket closed that many people homicide. So for people to be telling us that, okay, is there a soldier at the toll gate? Yes, soldier came to the toll gate. Do they shoot? Yes, they shoot. Do we believe in EndSARS? Yes, we believe in EndSARS. And everybody wants Nigeria to be better. But some people to believe that because they can speak to the media or because they can speak grammar to now turn killing to massacre, and they want God to believe in it. In this age that we have, you are putting gun on somebody's head and you want that person to accept, not to react. Another thing I want us to talk about is that Lekki that these people went to go and protest, is it government facilities or private facilities? The lawyer in the studio, if somebody came to his house in number and begin to protest because they give his LBA, what is going to be his own life?
Okay.
So all these things are what people must talk about. And I want need to say, let us combine and rebuke the thief. But we are saying we are the owner his own property is not good. Fine, government is wrong. The people that are protesting also, they are wrong on private facilities.
Indeed.
Someone who came at the first day of that protest to come and discuss with them. So if I thought that it must not be Lagos State. So why are we now talking about killing on 20th of? Why are we now talking about destruction? What of the destruction that happened? They nearly killed and the rest on the 21st. Is that part of the agreement? If somebody attacked me, I might ask the lawyer. If somebody kill my sister, I'm not allowed to go and kill that person the second day.
All right, I want to thank you very much for contributing. I've got to let go now. I beg your pardon. Thank you very, very much. The point that was first made, much to the annoyance of a lot of people from what I could see on social media, was when Lai Mohammed, Minister of Information, said, if people died, if anybody's goat dies, you will see the owner of the goat come out and want to claim his goat. Where are the parents, the guardians of all these people reportedly, allegedly massacred? That point was made. It was re-echoed by Festus Keyamo, as yes. I said, just coincidentally. And then
I think I will make some allusions here. If somebody sees your name, please, that Yori Folari, and the person is carrying a submarine machine gun.
I don't know why you people always like to use me as an example of these things.
You are fantastic.
You didn't say.
You are fantastic, sir.
You didn't say Joe Public.
And says,
you didn't say Joe Public. And you see the tags Joe Public.
I have one bullet for one person. Are you Yori Folari? You deny your name at that point. And these are what we are saying, the intimidation and things like that.
Yes.
And let me also say this. Let's come to the wider spectrum, sir.
You know what?
Now,
I'm going to try. I beg your pardon. I'm going to try and take Mohammed in Abuja.
Okay.
Then I'll probably chill a bit on the phones so that you can really land
it's
when you
right.
make these statements, these contributions. Yeah. Mr. Mohammed in Abuja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just want to comment the EndSARS issue and planning the federal government intervention before the release of the white paper. I think the government is reacting on the report on the social media. It's because it's on the social media, that's why he responded. And I don't have any complaint about that. Because the report is leaked. And anybody that leaked that report, they wanted to tarnish the image of that federal government before the white paper. So I think that is the plan. Number two is that if you go by the meaning of massacre, I think it means killing of many, hundreds or thousands of people. But the report, the white paper say only one person. And these people are insisting that it's still massacre. So I want them to gather their evidence. Since they with the white paper report, they should go to court and then bring their own evidence, and then let's hear what court will do if they feel this, so that they will stop disturbing us on your daily program.
All right then.
We are tired of this EndSARS issue every day.
Thank you very much.
Let them go to court and let court give judgment. Let them bring their evidence.
All right then. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Mr. Mustafa. Appreciate your call. And I'm gonna, no more calls so that Jide can land and we can look at some of these issues. By the way, the issue that Mr. Mohammed raised there, who has the locus to take anything to court if they so wish?
Several stakeholders, but like I have said, the white paper is the position of the government, and they say he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So you can make recommendations, and the government says, okay, we agree with this. These are the steps we are going to take, and that is sacrosanct.
Wait a minute, that expression that you just used, you said
Which
he
one?
who pays the piper dictates the tune.
It's a quotation.
It's a quotation.
What I mean
using
is
it
that
in this sense,
wait, sir. The government gave the government
to the integrity of the whole thing.
It's not a matter of integrity. This is literature. You see, and it's obvious.
But
the government gave the panel an assignment. They came up with reports, and then we look at it. These are the ones.
The government said clearly that nobody can say it interfered with the Judicial Panel of Inquiry.
And we agree with that. But the reports now, when you look at the reports in comparison with the white paper, you see, people are bothered. Like I said, for me, personally, the white paper is the final decision on this matter as the position of the state. But I'm more concerned about going forward. We've had instances. We had the civil war. We've had different. Right now, we are even managing
because
one.
What we want is closure.
When somebody came, when you close, an explosive item in a bottle, it's not the end of it.
No, that's not closure. That's not closure. But closure, I mean closure in the right
now
sense
in
of
this
the word.
country,
That is closure
National
for
Assembly
people who were
said
hurt.
declare bandits as terrorists. No.
Closure cannot
Court
be
has declared bandits as.
Closure cannot be devoid of justice.
Let's see how we go forward.
It's not about
but you
copying
see,
anything in a bottle.
My advocacy is just that, please, it's time for us to give justice, fairness, equity, and a facilitated, secured future a chance concerning Nigeria. We should not deepen the pains and the distrust, and you know what I mean? So, and on that note, I just want to say we thank the panel, we thank the government for this, and if we come to the end of the story, I hope that in the future somebody will not rise up and say, oh, I have a confession to make. I would not have done this when I did it. And that is the position of conscience. Which Madam Fodio in 1804 said that conscience is an open wound. Only truth can heal it.
That reminds me of The Guardian. I think they have that in their masthead as well. I think we're going to have to leave it there. Closure is what is required. And people have said that closure can only come forth from justice. And so when they see the justice, they will attest to the fact that it's as justified as can be. You have said that you would have handled it differently. But that's why I said at the very top of the report that of this program that there have been mixed reactions. Yours is not the only reaction. But thank you very much, Jide Ologun, for coming along to share your perspectives with us.
God bless Nigeria.
Indeed, God bless Nigeria, the Federal Republic. And indeed, that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.